Hi, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thanks so much for watching. Please check out our website, nextjuice.com. Click that support button. We are only $14.10 away from our goal for today, so that would be so awesome if you have 20 bucks to spare or $15 to spare, or if three of you has $5 to spare, however it's going to work out. I know that it can. Please do support this channel and help us to keep this content going and growing. And remember, if you subscribe for monthly sponsorships on the website, you'll be entered to win $100 on March 17th, so on St. Patrick's Day. This is being streamed live on, technically, March 1st. Welcome to March, you guys. It's 12:01 a.m. in New Jersey, where I'm streaming from, and that means it's time to sing Bone Thugs. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. Get up, get up, get up. Cash your checks and get up. All right, all right, all right, to the book review. Hey there, Chicken on Biscuits. First comments of the broadcast. Hey Josh, hey JC, hey Matthew Gold, hey Cher. I'm so glad you guys are here. Thank you for subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. And thank you for turning your notifications on so you actually know when I go live. Here we are, boom, with the book. The moment you guys actually probably came for. The EQ Difference, A Powerful Plan for Putting Emotional Intelligence to Work by Adele B. Lynn. Now, if you're like me, you're more logical than emotional, and you don't really study emotion very often. Well, a good friend of mine gave this to me, and now I realize why. Because I have a lot of room for improvement in this area. I think I have a pretty solid IQ, but EQ could use a lot of work, and maybe you guys are in that same category. So I learned a lot from this book. I really, really loved it, and I'm actually going to go live on Periscope, which is like Twitter live, right after this broadcast, and just have an open discussion for however long we want to chat about it, and we'll have unlimited amounts of time really on there. For this, I want to keep it for YouTube length. It should really only be like 10, maybe 15 minutes long. So I'm going to try to give you the highlights, but there's a lot I want to say about it, and there's a lot I want to share from this. So please do follow me over on Periscope, same username as on here, NextJuice, and we can really discuss it and have more of a back and forth and more interaction over there. So, first, she talks about emotional hijacking. So I made myself some notes so I would know what page the pictures were on. I did post some of these pictures over on Instagram, which is the same handle as well, NextJuice. And this picture you'll find over there, and it's going to be a little bit better focus over there. And this is an example, a very rudimentary sketch of the brain. And at the base of the brain here, you'll see what she has labeled as the autonomic or first brain. So that's like our breathing, our heart rate, the things that happen in our brain without us having to worry about it, are involuntary workings of our body. The second layer that she has labeled there is the limbic brain. And the limbic brain experiences emotions, and it's also which is the amygdala, which is basically kind of trying to protect us all the time, trying to figure out fear, trying to protect us in that adrenal response, fight or flight or freeze kind of area of our brain. The other part that's in there is the hippocampus, which stores memory. So when things have traumatized us, caused us pain, or strong emotions in our life, we can remember that very vividly, and because the emotion center and the memory center are in the same area of the brain in the limbic system. So that's pretty interesting. I thought a little tidbit there about how the brain works. And then the top, that the big part, is the cortex and neocortex, which is where we have our reason, our logic, our what we would associate with thinking as opposed to feeling, which is in the limbic system. So she calls it yeah, emo hijacking. She calls it emotional hijacking when your emotions overrun your reason and your logic in that neocortex and cortex. And I've experienced this. Maybe you guys have as well. Some common triggers for me, or common emotions for me, are defensiveness. When I feel like I'm being criticized or judged, I tend to be very defensive. I tend to want to overly justify myself, and I can be very much egocentric and focusing on myself and feeling like it's me against the world. There are a lot of different things that you might have, or voices that self-talk. We say things to ourselves. We narrate our life. We always have thoughts about everything. Our brain is constantly thinking. And certain things can cause us to react in habitual ways and in patterns, and we can notice different triggers. So she does spend a lot of time talking about triggers in this book, but again, I don't want to spend too much time talking about this, so we'll discuss this on Periscope in depth right after this. There we go. Cher says, I go back and forth, but after an argument or discussion, I end up noticing the emotional part of people. Josh says, what part of the brain is responsible for trolling? I guess it depends on the level of trolling that we're really referring to here. Hey, Fro, how are you? Thanks for coming. So the next area or the next section here, so she has the book sorted into three sections. The first is where she goes in depth on emotion, what emotion is, and emotional hijacking. So I'll just quickly talk about this because this is the best way for me to describe it. Emotional hijacking is when your emotions get in the way of your values and or intentions. So what we say our values are and what we truly value, let's say honesty, may go to the wayside when we're feeling a strong and powerful emotion or with our intentions. So we may have good intentions in a situation, but our emotions or other people's emotions may cause our intentions not to be followed through on. So maybe we had good intentions when we gave some advice to someone, but because of the emotional state that they were in or the way we delivered the message in an unemotional or insensitive type way where we didn't read their emotion and respond accordingly, our intention wasn't actually what's the word I'm looking for? Like it didn't come to fruition. We didn't actually achieve our intention of helping that person. Instead, we hurt them. We made them feel judged. We made them feel ashamed. We made them feel embarrassed, which was not usually anyone's intention. Most people don't wake up in the morning and say, I really want to hurt some people today. I want to hurt people's feelings. I really want to just make everyone feel like crap. Most of us say, okay, today I want to go out and I want to make the world a better place. But then our own emotions or other people's emotions can kind of prevent those intentions from actually happening. So I thought that was a good way of looking at it. So the next part two of the book, is where she talks about the 5 areas of emotional intelligence. And those 5 areas are, flipping through the book, bear with me, are self-awareness and self-control, the ability to fully understand oneself and to use that information to manage emotions productively. Yeah, your brain is quite chatty when you stop to listen to it. That's why meditation is a powerful way of becoming more self-aware and having better self-control. So that was a good time to mention that, Josh. Um, Josh is like, when I want to be courteous and let someone in my lane, but then they don't use their blinker. Delivery is key in advice giving, even if you feel that you're right. Absolutely, Fro. And I've struggled with that a lot throughout my life. And we have something where we go, this is another book I'm reading that I just started today, but they talk about autopilot, going into autopilot in those habits and those patterns that we get into. And it just becomes the way that we handle situations. And we just value honesty, but we don't value emotion. So we're like, oh, well, I was just being honest. Like let's say somebody there's wearing something that's not flattering to their body shape. Well, to tell them they look fat in that outfit, it may be true. It may actually be true. It may actually make them look bigger than they are, but there's a way to deliver that that's not so insensitive, and that makes a big difference. And you can change those habits and patterns by first becoming, with the first area, awareness, and then self-control, and being able to control the way that you respond to others' reactions and others' emotions and other situations, and in your own as well. So I'll ask you guys, who is the one person that we can control? Who is someone that we can control? It's really, I'm not going to wait for the comments, but it's us. It's me. It's myself. That's the only person that I can control. And that's how it is for all of us. We can't change anybody else. We can't control anybody else. We can't help them, really. We can give advice, we can give some information that helped us, but they have to do it themselves. And we can't control how other people treat us or how they treat themselves or how they act in their behaviors. All we can control is how we react to them and how we choose to act in our own behaviors and our own thought patterns as well. We can choose our own thoughts and feelings to some extent. And area 2 is empathy, the ability to understand the perspectives of others. And it goes beyond even understanding it, but actually being able to not just understand, I guess, yeah, not just understanding their emotions, but like this said, understanding their perspective, understanding their value system, their point of view, their history, their background, what maybe even their demographics, their gender, their age, their is race the right word? Race or ethnicity. All these things actually do have an impact on us, whether or not we want to accept that. And so I understand a little bit better probably how Caucasian women in their 20s and almost 30s are feeling and acting in American, I should say. So nationality plays a role as well. And I might have a really much harder time understanding where an elderly Hispanic man from, let's say, Argentina, how his life is and where his point of view comes from. So I can't just jump to conclusions and make assumptions. We have to dig deeper. We have to learn, and we have to expose ourselves to a variety of different demographics and societies so that we can realize that our way is not the only way. There are many ways to get through life, and our way is not the right way either. It's just the way that is our own. Is our own. Oh, thank you, Fro. Hi, Lou. Quarter life crisis, there's actually a book written about that. I read that book. I don't remember much about it right now, but I'm sure the reviews on my Goodreads channel if you go to goodreads.com/nextjuice. The third area is social expertness, the ability to build genuine relationships and bonds, genuine, and to express caring, concern, and conflict in healthy ways. So this is genuine. Genuine is the key word here. This isn't about like business networking. This isn't, okay, well, how can I get this person to like me so that they are my customer, so that they give me what I want? This isn't about what can I get from this person. This is about what can I do to help this person? What can I do for them? What can I bring to the situation? Like, what's that famous quote? Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Well, in this case, it's like that with all individuals. So ask not what these people can do for you and just assume, oh, this person has nothing to teach me. Oh, they're young, they don't know much, or they're, oh, they smoke weed, so they obviously, don't really use their brains, or they don't have a job, so therefore they must be lazy. Don't make assumptions. Just realize that every single person on earth has something to teach us, and we can really benefit by helping them, and not necessarily like we can fix or change people, but what do they want from us, and how can we meet that need, and how can we show up for them in the way that they want us to, not in the way that we want. And you'll be blessed abundantly you'll realize like there's so much to be gained just in genuine relationships from people that have nothing to do with really give and take. No one's keeping score. This is just a genuine bond with someone, like you have probably with some family members, like probably your children. You would do anything for them. You just give. You don't think about what you're going to get back out of it. You just do whatever is going to be helpful and good for them. So kind of viewing everyone in that way if you have children. Personally, I don't have my own biological children, so I can think of good friends that I would just do anything for, because in a way it's like because they've always done that for me. It's just the way the relationship is. It's genuine. It's authentic. Social master or social expert. Yeah, I love that. Social expertness. And then number four, area four, is personal influence, the ability to positively lead and inspire others as well as oneself. So this is your influence, not only on yourself, like we talked about self-control, self-awareness, but also being able to change those thought patterns, and also being able to actually influence other people to do the things that we think they should do when we think that it's going to help them, but always being open to the idea that we could be wrong, always keeping that first area, self-awareness, very, very powerful, and awareness of the situation as well. She talks about a technique called scanning, where you're constantly moving your head right and left, trying to pick up on social cues of the people around you and yourself. Imagine there's this concept she has called the self coach. Imagine you're outside of yourself looking at yourself. Well, what's your posture like? What's your facial expression like? Do you seem like you want to engage with the people around you? Do you seem approachable, happy, and energetic and excited? Or are you in your phone? Are you hunched over? Do you look bored? Do you look angry? Do you have your arms crossed? Do you look unapproachable? just awareness. And then you can actually influence people by being excited, having good energy, being positive. You can actually influence people in a great way without really using any type of manipulation or pseudo social skills, but actually just putting that energy out into the world. You actually make a difference in the world. You can actually make that good difference that so many of us wake up each day wanting to make in the world. Sorry, it blocked your comment for a second there, Cher, but I just popped it up. And the fifth area, final area, is mastery of purpose and vision, the ability to bring authenticity to one's life and live out one's intentions and values. So that's like the end result, that you figured out how to master all those other four areas so that you can live out your intentions and values. I always thought of something as purpose and vision, figuring that out first. Well, what's my purpose and what's my vision? And then I go out and do things. But actually, first, you become aware of yourself and of others, and then you generate empathy, and you realize that other people have different points of view and they're not wrong, and yours isn't right. It's just different. We're all different. And then you start to learn maybe social skills and influence, like they talk about. And then you can really master pulling off your purpose and vision. And then finally, she has the 7 steps to emotional intelligence, which are: step 1 is to observe, like I said, scanning. Step 2 is to interpret, analyzing the information that you're seeing. What does that really mean? 3 is to pause. When you feel like an emotional hijacking may be in order, which you'll start to learn was going to happen for you because you'll learn your own triggers. So 2 of my triggers, my main triggers, I feel like almost my only triggers. One is criticism. Like I said, when I feel like I'm being criticized or judged, I feel the need to defend myself, to justify myself, to prove my point is right, to prove that I am right and to be right. And secondly, I also have a really hard time with efficiency. When I feel like someone is wasting the time of myself or people around me, like in the airport, I notice this a lot where people are holding up the line or things are just being done in a really confusing way, like the way they board the planes. They board people on the aisles before people in the middle in the window seat, which makes no sense to me because then those people have to get up, stop the entire line, people have to scooch in. It's just, and you can even see it probably in my face. And that's my habit, is to be like, why are we doing this? What is the point of this? And because I think that things could be done better, but I have to remember that I'm not always right. And I really, the importance of this is to know what my triggers are. So to know, oh, I might be in the mood for an emotional hijacking right now, and to pause. So that was step 3, pause. Take some deep breaths. And she says to do a physical motion and create this as your thing that you do every time you realize that there's a trigger in your environment. And so for me, it's running my hand through my hair. I just came up with this like yesterday when I read this book. So take a deep breath, hand through your hair, and continue to breathe deeply. And just pause. Work really, really hard not to just react, to just say like I'll whoever I'm with, or I'll text someone. I don't understand why it's done this way, or maybe I'll send out a tweet, or I'll say to Ed or whoever I'm with, I just don't understand. You see this woman? Why she waited in line for 10 minutes and now she's like unpacking and repacking her bags. Why didn't she do that before she got in the line? Now we all have to wait for her. And it's like people around me can probably see that I'm agitated. I'm bothering the person that I'm with who just wants to be happy and relax and have a good time. I'm elevating my own emotion for no reason. There's no benefit to doing that. My intention is not to go out into the world and criticize everything that's wrong that I see. That's not my intention, yet that's what I often do. So learning your triggers and then learning some actual physical things you can do, like maybe adjusting your glasses, taking your glasses off and cleaning them off, and taking long, slow, deep breaths before you respond. So if someone's directly engaged with you, you can still do that. You don't have to say anything. The silence isn't always enhanced by your voice. I have to learn that myself sometimes. I know I talk a lot. Resting bitch face. Yeah, that's a possibility for sure. If you were outside of yourself, you'd high five yourself. I like that. All right, we've been going for 20 minutes, so let me fly through these last few. Number 4 is direct. So choose what you're going to do. 5 is to reflect. So once you've made the choice, think, don't always look at the justifying. Don't try to just justify everything that you do. Like that's what I do. Instead, think, what could I have done differently? Is there something else I could have done in that situation? what would somebody that I really admire or respect or look up to, what would they do? Someone who you think has really high emotional intelligence. How would they have handled that? Did I do the best that I could have done here? Just reflecting, not criticizing yourself and thinking, oh, striving for perfection, but just reflecting and thinking, okay, so that you can make the best decisions moving forward. Not because you're going to be perfect ever, but because you want to be making progress. Because you want to live out your values and intentions. Number 6 is celebrate. When you reflect and you say, I'm really happy with the way that I did that. When you make any amount of progress with any of your goals, whether it's with emotional intelligence, in relationships, in work, your fitness, celebrate. Do something to celebrate. Take the time to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm really proud of that. You can brag about it to a friend. You can write it in your journal. Give yourself a little party. Give yourself a little treat. Excuse me. Do something that you love to do. Spoil yourself a little bit. Celebrate your victories. That's really important. And finally, 7 is repeat. Rinse and repeat. Going back to observe, interpret, pause, direct, reflect, celebrate, and then repeat again. And again, the 5 areas of emotional intelligence are self-awareness and self-control, empathy, social expertness, personal influence, and then mastery of purpose and vision. And that is my book review on The EQ Difference by Adele B. Lynn. I have tons more to say about it, as you can probably tell, because we've been going for 22 minutes, but I don't want to have a crazy long YouTube video, so follow me over on Periscope, where we're going to have an open-ended discussion where we can just chat and really share and engage more with each other on what you guys think about this and where you've seen these things. Maybe you've been emotionally hijacked, or what some of your triggers are. We'll talk about voices in your head, the self-talk, and maybe your methods of operation, your emotional MOs. She talks about the way different people react to the same emotions. So I'm gonna shut up now. I swear, I told you it's hard for me not to. Celebrate good emotional intelligence. It's a celebration. All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who makes this show possible. Like I said, we are $14.10 away from our goal for today. Big thank you to Trevor, Ed, Mike, Letica, and everyone who sent super hearts today, and for the bits on Twitch, Shara and Matt. I saw some really cool people. I think Lou and Ox, I think the guy's name was, Jai. Really cool people that supported Jai earlier when she was live on Periscope. Thank you guys for getting us that close to our goal. I hope that we can do it. I know that we can do it, and we're going to go over to Periscope and see if we can pull it off. Or you can go to nextjuice.com, click the support button, and help us to reach that goal today or any day that you're watching this in the future. And remember, if you subscribe for monthly sponsorships, you'll be entered to win $100 on St. Patrick's Day 2019. So that's March 17th, 2019, our next $100 giveaway. I hope you win. And drumroll, that's the end. This has been a moment in time. It looks like I had too much next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor and Fro and Matt and Cher and Lou and Chicken on Biscuits. See you on the next juice.